The full House is expected to vote today on legislation to raise the nation's debt ceiling, and the trial is underway for the man accused of killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Later today, the full House is going to vote on legislation to increase the federal government's borrowing authority. The bill comes from a deal President Biden struck with Republican Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren says once the current crisis is over, Congress needs to get rid of the debt ceiling for good.
The minute, and I mean the minute, we get the votes, we need to eliminate the debt ceiling, and we need to start talking about that now.
The federal government will breach its debt ceiling by Monday unless Congress acts to increase it before then. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office has scored the debt ceiling legislation. It finds it would cut federal deficits by about $1.5 trillion over the next decade. But savings that are trimmed out of the IRS will be lost because there will be a drop in tighter enforcement of tax collections. The trial of the man accused of killing 11 people and wounding 6 others at a Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018 continues today. From member station WESA, Julia Zenkovich has more.
Prosecutors called 3 witnesses on the trial's first day, including Rabbi Jeffrey Myers. Myers is the rabbi and cantor for one of the 3 congregations attacked. He survived by hiding in a second-floor bathroom. Testimony so far has included a history of the Jewish faith and the founding of the Tree of Life congregation. Prosecutors have also played 911 calls made by some of the victims. Lead defense attorney Judy Clark told the judge that the defense won't dispute the facts of the case. Lawyers for the defense said they do not plan to cross-examine most witnesses. The trial is expected to last 2 months. For NPR News, I'm Julia Zenkovich in Pittsburgh.
A NASA panel charged with studying unidentified anomalous phenomena is meeting today in Washington. As NPR's Jeff Brumfield reports, they hope to bring some science to the debate over strange things in the sky.
From flying saucers to little green men, the government has dealt with claims of what used to be called UFOs for decades, but a lot of the old reports are pretty low quality. Astrophysicist David Spergel heads the NASA panel.
Fuzzy pictures that people took in the 1950s are not terribly valuable.
The 21st century has brought some better data, but its collection and study is still ad hoc. Spergel says NASA's panel will try to lay out a more scientific approach to looking at UAPs, as they're now known. At today's meeting, they'll also respond to public comments and concerns. A final report is expected later this year. Jeff Brumfield, NPR News, Washington.
NASA says 4 astronauts have safely returned from the International Space Station. The travelers are with the private commercial company Axiom Space. The crew spent 9 days aboard the International Space Station. 2 of the crew are from Saudi Arabia. The team includes the first Saudi woman to travel into space. North Korea has quickly admitted that it tried to launch a satellite into space today and failed. Pyongyang is promising to try again very quickly to launch a satellite to spy on U.S. and South Korean military activity. South Korea says it has salvaged part of the failed satellite from the ocean. Officials in South Korea and Japan ordered some residents to take shelter after today's launch, but soon rescinded the order when the device fell into the sea. A wildfire in Canada has forced about 16,000 people to evacuate their homes. The fire's been burning for several days northwest of Halifax. As Dan Karpinchuk reports, it's one of more than a dozen wildfires burning in the eastern Canadian region.
Premier Tim Houston says the damage from the fires is extensive and heartbreaking. More than 32,000 acres have been burned, damaging more than 200 homes and buildings. Now he's banned all activity in the province's forests, including hiking, camping, fishing, hunting, and more. He's also pleading with people to obey the burn ban. Officials say there are now more than a dozen active wildfires, 8 of which started on Monday. The problem is hot, dry weather. The deputy fire chief says crews will work patrolling communities and putting out flare-ups and spot fires. And there are now concerns about poor air quality because of the smoke. For NPR News, I'm Dan Karpinchuk in Toronto.
You're listening to NPR News.